Okay, good morning, everyone. This is Monday, July 27, 2015, and we are here in Las Vegas. And this week we're going to start doing what?
Google
YouTube.
YouTube.
Yes, Google's YouTube app. And why is this important? Euler? Why is this important?
You can use it for an appointment.
Okay. That is true. Why else is it important? Julia?
Because you can show your work.
Okay, why is that important? Okay, we'll start with that. Show your work.
You can make a video if you wanted to demonstrate that you were really good at serving wine.
Okay, so wait, hold on. Let me set the stage here for everyone. Okay, so in law school, you start out on the first day after you're done orientation getting the concept that words have meaning. And in the practice of law, you have to break things down. So you take a statute or you take a rule, and you have to break it down, and you go word by word by word. So in our example here, Julia said, the reason YouTube is important is because you can show your work. All right, so in law school, they'd say, okay, you underline that, and what do you mean by show?
Demonstrate.
How you demonstrate it?
You could demonstrate your work. Let's say you were wanting to.
Well, let's just say it's a video. That's how you show it.
Right.
Okay, there is a video that you can go watch. Okay, that shows, in quote, shows whatever your work is. Okay. Now, work doesn't mean work. It means whatever it is you created, because it could be play, right? It could be nonsense, but we're on show. So you get to show your work. Show is, once again, what do you mean by show?
Demonstrate. Demonstrate.
Okay, well, it's a video. Okay, that's what you're showing. It's a video. And if we say your, what do we mean by your? So the only thing on YouTube is what you created?
It could be.
The only thing on YouTube is what you created?
No, there's a lot of.
Well, let's talk about objective reality, not fictional reality. Okay, your means people, right? Can animals put things on YouTube? No. Why not? They don't have Gmail accounts. Okay, now, and then we would get into work. What do you mean by work?
Well, if you were going to demonstrate.
Okay, but what do you mean by the word work?
Whatever it is that you're trying to show.
Okay, so, whatever you created, right? Is that what you mean? Stuff that you've created or copied? Because maybe you didn't create it, but nobody else posted. There's a lot of things on YouTube that somebody else did, but they didn't put it on YouTube. This person put it on YouTube. It's not about them. It's about somebody else or something else. So why is YouTube important? Okay, so this was the question, well, what is it? Why is it important? And you said, well, you get to show your work. Okay, so that really is videos that people created. Okay, but let's go back to why YouTube.
Because everybody's watching them.
Okay, why YouTube? Why should we care about YouTube?
Because it's very popular.
Okay, it's popular. What else?
Free.
Free? Part of Google.
Few businesses know the power of it.
Few businesses know the power of it. That's not a good reason. That would be a bad reason, right?
So no, I'm talking about I'm talking about to promote yourself.
Yeah. Phyllis, would you mind doing me a big favor and bring me my cup back there? I appreciate that very much. I know it's not your job to bring me my cup, but in the old
But
days,
you're on camera.
in the old days, I'm the man, I'm the boss. Thank you. Oh yeah, I am still the boss. That's true. I'm the director. Okay.
Ed,
Yes.
you ever said the number one thing is to help you become autodidactic, where you can learn?
Okay. Being autodidactic.
So you can learn on your own, just about anything.
Okay. So that's a good point. That's not why YouTube is important, but that's a big benefit of our goal at the school is for people to become autodidactic. Why do we want everybody to be autodidactic here? First of all, what is autodidactic? Do you have any idea, Ernesto, what it means?
Help learn and help others learn.
Okay, so autodidactic is to self-learn. Okay, self-learn. You teach yourself. When we all went to elementary school, did we teach ourselves? Middle school? High school? Sort of in high school, and by the time you get to high school, you're supposed to be able to be given an assignment, you figure it out, you come back, and tomorrow we're going to talk about it. You get up into college, are you supposed to learn this stuff on your own? Yeah. And then you pretty much demonstrate, or you fill in the gaps at the lecture or the lab, depending upon the class. When you get into law school, are you expected to know the material? Yeah, you're expected to know it when you show up for class, because when you get into law school, it's a different purpose. What's the purpose of an attorney? To give a fictional story, fictional reality about something, but it's to communicate what the law says, the spirit of the law or the letter of the law is to be persuasive. And so law school, a lot of law school is learning how to be persuasive. You have to know the material, and then in class you're asked a question, what was this case about? And the instructor will ask you question, whatever your answer is, and you get used to that because you have to be persuasive. Because no attorney would be any good if the judge said, can you clarify? I don't understand what you just said. And the person says, what? Well, let me get back to you, Your Honor. Can I have a recess? That doesn't work. So law school is for that other purpose. So a benefit of YouTube is it helps you become autodidactic because what? Yeah, you can learn from other people showing you what to do as opposed to figuring out the good old-fashioned hard way. So that is one of the benefits of YouTube, and that's kind of a side reason I think it's important for everyone to be comfortable with YouTube, because you should get in the habit of, if I need to learn something, how do I learn that? What do we do mostly right now? What's the first thing people do?
Ask Phyllis.
Okay, out there in the real world, in the objective real world. What's the first thing most people do in the objective real world if they want information? No.
Yeah, that's what we do.
They ask someone. Do you work around with the computer? No. Or on your smartphone? Okay, Google. Do you do that? Do you do this in life? Okay, Google. You didn't hear the little beep, right? What day is today? Okay, Google. What is today's date?
It's Monday, the 27th of July, 2015.
Okay, so we don't do that yet. Okay, we normally ask other people. What does Tiger Todd say? The danger of asking other people?
They're on your same level.
Yeah, horizontal learning. You ask another moron a question, and you don't really get what you want to get. Okay, that's how we, historically, that's how people, that's the number one way people get knowledge. You ask someone. As you become educated, what do you learn to do? To get information. You go to a book, right? Historically. So 1,000 years ago, you might be lucky enough, or 500 years ago, Loyola was told you need to go get an education if you want to be out there preaching. So he had to go back to school to learn what? Latin. He had to go to school to learn Latin because what? Why Latin? Yeah, because the texts were in Latin. So in order to be able to read the stuff, he had to do it because that's how people learned then. Anybody today that's over, certainly over 45, or maybe over 40, grew up in a world where if you wanted to learn something, first you asked people, and secondly, you found it in a book. My youngest daughter is 12. I don't know whether her second way is to go look in a book or to go online. What we need to do is develop the habit of if we want to learn something, if we want to become autodidactic, we go to YouTube, not Google. Why? And that gets back to the original question that I asked at the beginning of this, why YouTube?
Because it will tell us, and it has an
Okay.
explanation on.
Because most of our lives we learn by listening and watching.
Right.
And we are conditioned by television to feel very comfortable watching something on TV and having it have meaning in our brain. We practice that all the time. We don't spend a lot of time reading. And everybody has a preferred way of learning, right? What are some of the ways of learning? Okay, watching something,
Hands-on.
hands-on, listening, reading, right? Those are there's like 4 ways, primary ways to learn. Okay, so most people don't learn well. Their best way to do it isn't reading something. Those people are very good in certain jobs. What kind of jobs would they not be good at?
Manual labor.
Okay, manual labor. Why?
Because they're more
There's
intellectual.
not a lot of stuff written. So if you want to be a janitor at Walmart, is most of the way you learn to be a janitor at Walmart by reading a book on how to be a janitor at Walmart? It's hands-on. Yeah. Somebody else who's a janitor teaches you how to do it, and he says, well, that's not how we mop it at Walmart. You know, we use this amount of detergent, a cap full of stuff, in a bucket of this at a certain warm, hot temperature. You put your finger in there and you say, ow. And then we do that, and we do the mop, and we do this, and we go back and forth, and here's how we do it at Walmart. So some jobs you learn by hands-on experience, somebody telling you. Would a YouTube video help you learn how to be a janitor at Walmart? Yeah. That's as close to hands-on as you can be without actually having a mop in your hand, right? If somebody's there to show you and you have a mop in your hand, no, you're not holding the mop right, whatever. But if you're just watching a video, you don't have anybody being able to give you feedback of that's not right.
Frying the egg was really good too.
Okay, frying the egg was good.
The other part is that if you can go back.
Okay, so other jobs, let's say you're good at reading something. Can a YouTube video help you do that?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. It can have text up there. You read the text, and then the next thing it can do is what? Have a little video of somebody doing it. Here's how you fry an egg. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the next part of the video is what? Somebody doing it. Yeah. Okay. And at the same time, they could be talking. So, you know, again, why YouTube? So we already said people are visual, and that's the number one reason. It's easy. The most common way people learn right now is visually and not reading. Somebody's saying do it.
Some people also are what they call visual learners versus learners of actual reading something versus actually doing it.
Okay, so I thought that's what we were just talking about. Yeah, okay. So that's right. Some people, like if you play sports, what's the number one way to learn? Okay, what's the number two way? No, somebody telling you. What is the coach always doing? He's telling you what to do. Don't hold the bat that way, and you have to be able to do it. Run to second. You have to be able to take an audio instruction and do it. Can YouTube do that?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, YouTube can do that. So YouTube is probably the best way to learn how to do things. What's the problem with using YouTube as a way to learn? Huh? Well, when you're in the video, it's not bi-directional, right? The biggest problem I have in YouTube is you put in a search request, and what do you get? A whole bunch of videos. If you do that on Google and you get a whole bunch of things, is it easy to pick the one you want? Why? Because you can start reading it and say, is it worth my time? How do you do that on video? Yeah, you have to watch it long enough. It takes a lot longer to find out whether it's good. So how would we know some ways that things on Google could be good?
The title?
Okay. What? What was that in California?
By the title of the video?
By the...
She said by the title. She said...
Okay, well, let's say you put in a title that is how to use YouTube. YouTube introduction. YouTube introductory. Introduction to YouTube.
Right.
Okay, so I put that title in, and how many different things could come up?
Oh, a lot.
Not a million. A lot less than a million.
Yeah, but not a lot.
They're a lot. So more than I really want to take the time to read, right? Because I just want to know how to fry an egg. I don't want to have to spend more time trying to find a video to show me how to fry an egg than how to fry an egg. So one way is I look to see what? How many hits? How many people have watched it? Yeah.
Isn't there a way also to see how the viewers from before have rated it?
Yeah, but not a lot of people do that. Not a lot of people do comments. But one thing would be who did it. So it always tells you who did it. And if you see something that says this was done by Google, it's probably good. Because they pay people at Google just to do these. That's their job.
And I don't know, but do the ones that are the best come up all the time?
If you sort it by popularity, yeah. So the first thing is who created the video or who posted the video. That's the first thing you need to do. The second thing would be how many people have watched this video. And it's not always the case that the most popular video is the best, but that's the place to start.
Yeah.
Okay, just like in horse racing, it's not always the fastest horse wins the race, but that's usually the way to bet, right? So the challenge in Google, so Google is very good at being able to transfer information and knowledge, but you don't know until you watch it whether that was the video you wanted to do. You have to invest time in it. And there's not an independent rating source. Some people are good at doing things, some people are not. Meaning, some people could say, okay, I want all of my friends to go like my video. I know it's a piece of crap, but if we all like it, we create this fictional what? Fictional reality that it's good. And if we all agree it's good, then what? Yeah, in a fictional reality. Objectively, it still could be not good. Okay, so the important thing, and we spent a lot of time talking about, is why YouTube. The reason why YouTube is it's the best way to transfer knowledge. Because people are conditioned to watch, to do visual stuff and listen, watch and listen, than they are reading. Okay? We get hooked into now believing. It used to be the most important thing. People believe what they see in writing. And people probably still, if you ask people, what's the most believable? What somebody tells you, what you read, or what you watch on TV.
What you read, but from where the
Okay,
source
it's generally people are still conditioned to believe if it's in writing, it must be true. But most people don't read. Therefore, the thing that most people usually do is they watch something, and they watch it on TV. Generally, is the most important thing. So YouTube is the closest to that. So we ride the wave of this is how people become susceptible to knowledge, is they watch it on TV. We do YouTube videos make it so that it's easy just to fall into that way of thinking. So when it comes to work, should YouTube videos be important for your employer?
Yeah.
Why? Hint, for all the reasons we just said. Okay, because all of the other employees at that place act and think the same way. It's easier to learn by watching something, and we're more susceptible to believing it's true than if somebody just tells us. You know, our boss could tell us if we work at a restaurant, here's how you fry an egg, and he does the egg. Well, you might say in your brain, well, that's what he thinks is the best way to fry an egg. But if you watch a video on YouTube and the quality is just as good as what he showed you, meaning the quality of the video is just as good as the environment. In other words, let's say it's not in a shack on a bayou in Louisiana out there somewhere. Some people talking, they have 3 teeth and 1 eye in the middle of their forehead, and they're telling you how to fry an egg. That might not be believable. Let's just say it's the same caliber. If you watch it on a video, you're more inclined to believe it's true than if your boss tells you that and you have any level of skepticism about your boss. Okay, if you're just neutral on your boss, you don't know if he's right or wrong, you just started working there, it's your first day, you've only known him for 10 minutes, and he says this is how you fry an egg, your natural inclination is going to be, well, that's what he says. And I don't know if I trust him. I don't know if he's right. But if your boss said, go watch this video, and it was somebody you didn't know, you'd probably believe it's more true because somebody took the time to create a video. So when you go to work, one of the easiest things to add value to that company is if you can do YouTube videos. So we have an opportunity with one of the advertisers in Chowtuti to do videos. But anybody can do a YouTube video, right? How long do you think it takes to learn how to create a YouTube video and post it?
You said about 5.
What would you say?
Well, 5 minutes to learn how to do it. I don't know about and post it.
Okay. What would you say, Ernesto?
On the complexity of the video.
5 minutes after watching the video.
Do you believe it? Why not? It was on YouTube. I picked a reliable source. Yeah, you should believe it. Okay? You should. So it doesn't, the point is it doesn't take that long to do it. Okay? To create a video and post it on YouTube doesn't take that long. So does that mean the quality should be good? No. If you can do it. Okay, so for example, at the UCLA Film School, day 1, they used to do this. So do you remember this, Dennis? F, a triangle, FCG. So put this in your books if you don't have it. It should be on your one of the front pages of your book, composition book. So at UCLA Film School, they would say you can
FCG.
have 2 of the 3. You can have 2 of the 3 of these. If you want to make a movie, This is how you make a movie. These three things come into making a movie. You can have two of them. Fast, good, cheap. Okay? It can be fast and it can be good, but it's not going to be cheap. You can make a movie fast and cheap, but it's not going to be what? Good. It can be good and it can be cheap, but it won't be what? Fast. We all know this in our day-to-day stuff. When we're doing our quizzes on Friday, right, you can do it fast. No, in our thing, it is fast. So it's either going to be fast and cheap, but it won't be good, or it's going to be fast and good, but it won't be cheap, meaning you're putting your whole energy into doing it. You're not sitting in here doing the quiz, smoking a cigarette, watching YouTube, and doing Facebook, right? During the quiz. Your 110 of bits per second in your brain is focused on that. So when it comes to videos, also, one way to know if it's reliable is how fast did they take to do it? And how much was involved? So just about anybody in 5 minutes can get something posted on YouTube, right? That's what the video said, right? But it has to be good. So how do we make it good without it being, and still have it cheap?
Well, we use our Google account, which is free.
Okay, but we want the quality of the video. Now talking about the video quality.
High resolution.
Yeah.
Buy the equipment.
Well, the high resolution camera could make everything look worse, right?
I mean, I really don't know what you're doing, I guess.
Okay. So one of the things that we do is we compensate for the video by adding something else onto it. So people have a tendency to believe, hey, that was a good experience. I watched a video, and then what?
I understood what was going on.
No, I watched a video, and what?
That was cool.
No. You're talking about the conclusion. I'm talking about something that goes along with the video.
Enjoy it.
I learned.
What? Did somebody in California say form?
Enjoy it.
Oh, she said she watched the video and she enjoyed it.
Okay, right. So you had a form. No, I'm kidding. I just heard what you said. So you have a form to go along with it. What is the form? Yeah. Not only a questionnaire, but it's a written instruction type thing. Kind of like we did with the frying the egg quiz. Right? There's a video, and there's a form that had the video embedded in it. Right? There's a link. So for your employer, because ultimately that's what we're talking about. So for your employer, a great way to add value is you do a YouTube video and you do what? You have a form that goes with it. So our opportunity with Fifth Avenue Restaurant Group is to create a video that is something that's important to them for everybody to know. Let's say it's as simple as how we want you to set the table. Exactly how we want you to set the table. Not approximately how we want you to set the table, but exactly how we want you to set the table. So meaning you have your plate, the edge of the plate is so many inches from the edge of the table. And then to the right of the plate are these utensils. To the left of the plate are these utensils. The water glass goes here, the wine glass goes there. And you have a video, but along with the video is what?
Describing.
Is a form.
Form.
Okay, you have a form that goes along with the video. So that means people have to do what when they're watching the video?
Form.
They have to pay attention, right? You leaving, Mike?
Yeah.
Okay. So everybody, we have a author in here that wrote a book that the school has, who is called what? A Charleston Yankee, right? A Charleston Yankee, and it's a great book that the school's going to be involved in promoting the book, and again through Chowtuti. So this is a important writer of the 21st century who happens to be spent a lot of time in the South during the Civil War years, and was recently in South Carolina and spent a little bit of time with Jesse Jackson and a lot of other important people.
Hope to see you guys. You got a great suit here.
Okay.
I'll give you a call.
Okay, thanks, Mike. Okay, so the thing to do with YouTube to have value that is worth the company is to have a YouTube video and a form that goes with it, because people have to pay attention to the video to fill out the form properly, right? And then what would Nolan Bushnell say you also have to do, or what do we know from Brain Rush that you have to do in order to actually learn?
Memorize.
Okay?
Practice, repetition.
Repetition, right? Because what happens in Brain Rush when you get it wrong?
It'll give it back again.
You're going to keep doing it until it's satisfied that you got it, right? So remember the planet one in the solar system? You can't finish that until it's satisfied that you know the planets. One of the next generations of Brain Rush is going to be to track you, and then for Brain Rush to say, okay, now we're going to go redo these ones. Instead of Phyllis doing it, saying we're going to assign these to you, that Brain Rush, you know, we start out with, here's the things we need you to learn in Brain Rush, here's the curriculum, here's the assignments, and that Brain Rush won't let you progress until you know it, but then you'll still have to come back to the planets. If you had any trouble with the planets, it might be next week, 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks. And so that's a thing that's going to be out, will be available later. Those algorithms are created in the next couple of years. My expectation would be, so everybody should be ready for this. And in your interview, you know, what are companies, what are the two things that companies are interested in? Make money and save money, right? So you want to position yourself so you get the question of, well, how are you going to make me more money than anyone else? What's one way to set yourself up for that? What's one way to set yourself up for him to ask you, how are you going to make me more money than anyone else? This is a simple question, people. In your interview, how do you get the person to ask you the question, how are you going to make me more money than anyone else? Huh? How do you get them to ask you that question?
Yeah.
Right. Because when they ask the question, why should we hire you? Or any question like that. Why should we hire you? What should you say, Rachel? Because, okay, good. Very close. Because I can make you more money or save you more money than anyone else applying for this position. That's why me. Now, if you say that, what's he going to think?
Well, how are you going to?
Huh?
Yeah.
How? Tell me more, is what he's thinking.
And you have to
Or he
show
might be
that
thinking,
you've done
yeah,
the
right.
research.
Huh?
And you have to show him that you've done the research on it.
Well, you have to have something. If you are prepared to talk about YouTube videos, you can say, well, I'll just tell you. The simple answer is, I'll give you the two-word answer, then I'll give you the longer answer. What's the two-word answer? It starts with the. Do we need to play hangman? Cloud, right. The cloud. How are you going to make me more money Or how are you going to save me more money than anyone else? Now, ideally, you want to have the ability to feel confident in saying, well, I'll give you the simple answer first and I'll explain it. The cloud. And then you just remain, you say nothing for 5 seconds.
What if you have an employer when you say the cloud and their business isn't using the cloud and they ask you, well, what is the cloud?
That's what you want them to do. Okay, so this is like, ideally you want life to be like a game of chess, right? But most people are not trained to do that. So if you can think of it like a game of checkers, or if you can think 1 or 2 moves ahead of the other person, you're going to win. Okay, so in this case, you want to be selected as the person for the job, right? You're in the job interview. You got there because your resume and everything was good enough. Now, if there's 10 people being interviewed, you need to be the #1 choice. So you need to say things that are important and believable. The best way to distinguish yourself or differentiate yourself from anyone else is by saying, I can bring you to the cloud. That's an answer to the question of how are you going to make me more money or save me more money than anyone else? Well, I'm going to give you the simple answer first, then I'll follow up with the more complex one, more thorough. The cloud. Shrug. And if you say it like that, with that kind of body language, that means what?
And you're not interested in the cloud yourself. So
No, that means that's the end of the story. I'm done. It's the cloud.
Right.
Huh?
The cloud.
No, you don't want to do it that way. You don't want to do it the Julia way. Friends, Romans, countrymen, it's the cloud. No, you don't want to do that. You want to do it as, that's the answer. Boom, it's the cloud. And then you wait to let it sink in. Give them a chance to reply. They don't know what to say first. And then you can give a longer answer and you say, here's an example of how I can make you more money or save you more money right now. We use YouTube to create better ways for people to learn how to do their jobs, make sure they're doing their jobs right, making fewer mistakes, taking advantage of opportunities. So for Frank Bonanno, he has opportunities where they can upsell or they can not make mistakes. So one of the things they want to avoid is a customer saying to the waiter, hey, why is your thumb on my steak? As he's putting it on the table. Why is your thumb on my steak? What do they want the waiter not to say? So it doesn't fall on the floor again. Just checking to see if anybody's paying attention. Okay, so the thing would be a training video of how you bring food out without spilling it on the floor or touching it. Another thing would be for restaurants is getting people to order dessert in an after-dinner drink. There's certain things that waiters can say that increases the probability of getting people to have dessert. One simple thing is after you take their food orders is just to say to them, okay, make sure you save room for dessert because we have some great desserts. If you say that to people before they've decided whether they want dessert or not, what's likely to happen? They're going to be open for the idea of dessert. If you wait till people are done and then you say, well, did anyone save room for dessert? Which is what most waiters do. What are you kind of reinforcing? Yeah, you're full. Okay? You don't want to do that if you want to save, if you want them to take dessert. And if you're a waiter, why would you want somebody to order dessert? Bigger tip. Okay. So another one that's a huge opportunity for restaurants that serve wine is for the waiter to be able to what? Before that,
Oh, resell it.
to get people to order that particular wine.
Suggested. Yes.
Now let's say you're a guy who makes wine. You have a line of wines. You want these restaurants to take your wine. What might you want those restaurants to know how to do? How to serve it? Not serve it.
Resell it.
Huh? No, because you generally have in a restaurant one type of glass for wine. Huh? Yeah, to know about it. So when they go up to the table to say, you know, we have some great wines. We have this one wine in particular. It's bottled, you know, it's the grapes are from here and they're this and that and all of these things. And if you like this type of wine, you like a red wine, if you like red wine, this is a great wine to go with most of the meals we have here. Now, if there's 100 different wines in the wine list, do you think that improved that wine company's chances of selling their wine?
Yes.
So what would you do to the employer, to the business, to get them to promote your wines? No.
Give them a different.
You can give them things like POPs, which is purchase where they purchase and they little logos, symbols.
That's what people did in the past. So that means you need to now invest more money, right? Or give away wine for free. But oftentimes when you give wine for free, you don't know that the owners of the restaurant just didn't decide to take that home. Well, if they sell it, they might want to bring it back. But so the best thing to do if you're the wine company and you say is, I have some videos that talk about our wines. And we tell people how to sell them. And I have this form that goes along with the video to make sure your people do it. And I'm saying in the future, in the next couple of years, there will be algorithms that will go back to the people and redo this. It'll automatically just go back and say, today we're going to go back and watch that wine video. So, so if you're a wine company, the best thing you would want to sell your wine is you want the waiters to know about your wine. Nobody else is going to give them a bonus. You don't need to say, I'll give you an extra bonus if you sell my wine. The store might not want that. But what the restaurant wants is more people having a good time. Because if they have a good time, they're going to stay longer, come back more often, and what? Tell their friends. Okay? So, you know, what I want the takeaway to be for our introduction to YouTube is YouTube can help you get a job. Because it's an easy way to give one example of the cloud. And virtually every business can benefit from training videos. Right, Robert? Would you say in the car detailing business?
That's correct.
Okay. You know, you could have a video in the car detailing business of, here's the most efficient way to detail a car. Because if you start trial and error on your own, if I say, okay, here's the buckets, here's the materials, detail this car, you know, you're a talented person, you're going to use your brain, but you don't know the shortcuts, you don't know the tricks, right? So it's going to take you a lot longer to do that car. So virtually every business can benefit from training videos. How many companies have training videos?
Some of the bigger companies.
Probably most companies.
Okay. I would not say most companies. I would say most large companies.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say most companies. But could most companies benefit from training videos? Yeah.
Yeah, large companies.
Okay, what kind of companies would not benefit?
There isn't any that would not be.
Small companies that don't have employees or don't have employee turnover, right? Because they don't need to train anyone else. Okay, so that's from what we learned this morning, that's a company that's flexible, but they're not trying to get a large numbers of people to do it. So one of the easiest, best ways would be a training video. Now, think about your employment plan. You did your research on the company. How much effort would it take to create a sample training video and a form along with it? Shouldn't be that difficult. Now, let's say you want to get a job as a cook in a restaurant that's, like a coffee shop. So you need to know how to fry an egg. How long would it take to go to YouTube, find a video how to fry an egg that's less than, say, about 5 minutes at the most? How long do you think that would take to find?
3 minutes.
Couple minutes.
Less than 5 minutes. Okay. And then you would watch the video before you would decide whether you wanted to use that video, right? You don't want to not watch it, and then at the end they say, just kidding. This isn't how to fry an egg. Okay, so, and then how long would it take to create a form to go along with that how to fry an egg video? That is a questionnaire that's to help people learn. Half hour? Okay. Now let's say you took another 15 minutes to make it look good by customizing the form.
So less than an hour.
Okay, say an hour. Is it worth an hour's investment to create these things to demonstrate that you are the best person for the job? Okay. And you didn't actually even have to make the video, right? You just said, here's a sample of what to do. So, to the question of what are people going to do in the future? Okay, one thing would be to create videos for businesses that have employees, training videos. And so how many videos do you think Frank Bonanno could have having to do with the restaurant? This ballpark.
At least 8.
8? Only 8?
No, I said at least.
Okay. So I would say if you took each position, I would say at least 10 videos per position. If you took the items on the menu, at least one video for every item on the menu. Right? Here's how we do this type of spaghetti. Here's how we do spaghetti and meatballs. So there would be hundreds. Now these guys own 14 different restaurant brands. Could that be a full-time job just doing videos?
Yeah.
What about keeping up the library? What about grading the scores? If people making sure that the people are supposed to be watching. That's a big thing. And if the videos added value, is he going to say, no, we don't want to do that? Yeah, you'd want to do it because it adds value. So tomorrow we're going to get into the guts of setting up YouTube, subscribing channels, more of that type of stuff. We're out of time. But in California, Dennis, do you have any quick questions?
Anybody have quick questions on how to set up anything? Anybody else? No? No questions right now, Ed.
Okay, well, thank you, everyone. And we will be back tomorrow.
We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye.